It is Monday, March 11th, 2024. Suicides? Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yep, let's do it, Willie. Let's do it. Brum, bum, bum. Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Lorna. Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Caveman. Good morning, Tim. Oh, man. Oh, just chatting in the chat, talking shit. Um, Over the weekend, a friend of mine, peer, associate, whatever you want to call him, kindred spirit, brother Deej, uh, and the Southern Brethren, whatever the name of his band is now, is no longer alive. I don't know the details of the suicide, but brother Deej committed suicide. 56 years old. Good morning, Kim McNeil. Good morning, Born Ancient. Good morning, Ann Christine. Monchichis. Monchichi. Bon matin. Uh, tous les maudits. All you troublemakers. I haven't finished my coffee yet. Um, I was, I gotta be honest, my first thought when I heard it, or my first feeling, there's just like shock sometimes with suicide. I wasn't shocked. I was jealous. Uh, Brother Deej had a real good, good, difficult. It was music is difficult to be quote successful in. Well, Deej was very successful. If you've ever watched Django Unchained, you've heard Brother Deej singing, "I'm too old to die young now." Too old to die young now. Um, well, thanks, Kim. I, you know, I'm going to be doing a whole. I got permission from Prophecy Records Thursday to do this Thursday a whole episode on Deej. And not that I really needed it because I have his permission expressly, directly, and he retained control over his artistic property, so he could do stuff like that. Um, and I'll talk about how I met him and all of that. I'll probably talk about it today and then and on Thursday. Different crowd, but yeah, I met Deej through the music business from a friend of mine named Steve Moore, who was a music attorney in Nashville for 11 years and practiced international licensing. And I was sent as an agent for Music Square One and High Cotton Records to talk to Deej about digital distribution back in 2006, right after the hurricane, when he was writing his book Cab Blog. He didn't publish that till 2020. So he had a bunch of writings from when he was a cab driver. Very, very interesting book. You'll hear some crazy fucking stories. It's a great book, Cab Log. Willie Weed, I just turned 57. Had trouble like that when I was young. Hope I'm past those days. Yeah, I hope so too, Willie. Mind My Blues, I thought you were going to a concert or something. I'm not an hour earlier. They stole an hour of time. They stole it. I cannot stand this time crap. Why has it got to be a quarter of a day? What happens to the quarter of a day per year? No one talks about the blatant murder of a quarter of a day. Theft, murder, whatever you want to call it. Every 4 years, a year dies. They make it sound like, oh, it's a leap year. It's whatever, man. And it's all because of big farming. Big farming, not big pharma. Oh, Lord. There's been so many, Kim. Back to your condolences. I appreciate that. There's been too many. I cannot even really keep track of how many friends have not only died but committed suicide. I mean, that's normal. When the older you get, it's like bloop, 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 people disappear. And it's sad and it sucks, but it's life and we die, and it's the most natural and safe thing that you'll probably ever do in your life, except be born. Ever think about that? I mean, not all death is safe and not all birth is safe, but by and large, being born and dying is probably about the most safe and natural thing you can do. It's everything in between that's fucking dangerous. You are early, laughing my ass off. I will hop in the shower and then off to my concert in an hour. Puff, puff, pass. Okay. Hey, you have to tell me fucking twice. Deej leg is dead. My friend killed himself. Apparently, according to Cecil Doyle, KRVS radio host, who is pretty in the know in the Lafayette, Acadiana area. It's hard for me to believe that Deej did that, but it's not hard for me to believe. In fact, the artwork for his new record is very foreboding. I show you. It is very foreboding. Let me find the. Oh, that's from another page. There's been a lot of commenting in my feed, because everyone knew him. It's kind of like a loss like Brian Moore. It has these waves of impact after and it's really fucking, it sucks. His His sixth album is due to release on the 15th. I don't know if I'm getting an advance copy, but I do have the permission to play any of his material directly from the label now, which is nice because uh, they're probably going to be managing his licensing and publishing. Where is this damn thing? I'll switch to the screen when I find it. Is it in this one? Nope. Cecil Doyle. I don't need the Meta Business Suite. This new thing on Facebook, I'm sure you guys have been annoyed with, as I have. So and so has tagged you. So and so has mentioned you. No, they haven't. They did highlight, and it tags everyone. So now I'm trying to find a notification, and I'm just inundated with all of this crap. And unfortunately, I may not be able to find this post. Like I would have found it already. It's just buried in notifications. Let's see here. Where's the one where he posted with the pictures from the album? Yeah, here we go. All right, so I'm going to share this screen. And I'm going to tell you how fucking foreboding this is. All right, and we even we could be brothers. We look so much alike. We probably have common ancestors, no, in Louisiana. All right. Main monitor. So this is brother Deej. His name is Deej Leg. This is an image from a photography session for his latest album, Aurora. And he's at the beach. Looks like Holly Beach, somewhere around there. Oh, I said you didn't have to tell me twice. Well, here we go. So it's for you, Deej. While I break it down, frequently wore all black. Had a menacing gunslinger preacher look. All right, so here he is at the beach in a wheel of time made of sand, standing in the voided section, let's call it, an empty void on the wheel of time, which will be washed away by these waves in a short order. This probably was very symbolic for Deej. It's a great picture. He took a lot of, he put a lot of love and care and genuine authenticity into his work. I admire him very much for that. I don't know the details of the suicide, but, you know, 57 years old, he just was about to move to Germany. He got signed with Prophecy Records. All right, I can see the chat now. Good morning, Brian. You rolled a long spliff just for this show. Hell yeah. You're on the West Coast, huh, Willie? So it's like 8 there. You starting the day out with a long spliff. Please update me. Daylight saving time in Europe is on March 31st. Was it yesterday in the USA? Yes. Yes, it was yesterday. My blues. Correct. I usually start at 1700, but it is 1600 now. 10-4. 10-4, good buddy, check your back door. I'm 10-8 on the interstate. 10-7 at the 7-Eleven. Okay, I do know some 10 code. I've tried to get people to use 10 code in video games, and they're just like, nope. Don't understand it. Let's see. Willie, we see you just made an upload, Brian. I'll check first thing after this. Yeah, what did you do, Brian? Did you do a poem? I saw a repost. I don't know if it was a repost or a reading of a new poem you've been writing. I'm curious. Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, you in Georgia? Okay, so it's almost noon. You're welcome, Blues. Hey, we're all high way too early, but guess what? We just got a fucking hour stolen from us. Lorna probably not high, huh? Oh, damn, it's still illegal in Georgia. That's some bullshit, bruh. It's 2024. That needs to get legalized this year. I know they're growing it there. Arkansas. Posted a limerick you did for Jackson Moorhead. Oh, hell yeah. He's a really nice guy. I spoke to him years ago after I did the interview with Aaron, and because I would have met him had I signed the gold base contract, and he would have been one of the first people I'd have met at the gate. So we talked about how it's a good thing. It's hey, I'm glad we never met, kind of thing. I need to turn my notifications off here. Oh no, that was from Brian. I got your text. Okay, our guy Jackson. Well, let's check it out. Our guy Jackson Moorhead. All right. Arnie Lerma killed himself. Suicide. Who killed him? It was suicide, sir. Who was the murderer? Him, sir. It was a suicide. That sounds like something from a Leslie Nielsen movie. I don't know. Okay. I just go. You made it easy for me, man. You made it easy for me. Thank you. Link. I'm in the wrong profile. Here we go. Back to the other profile. And let me grab the link. Make sure I don't blow everyone's ears out. Okay. So, main screen. On screen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever in the world you might be at this moment. My name's Brian, and I'm a poet. And in this video, I'm going to do a limerick, specifically a limerick about an ex-Scientologist named Jackson Moorhead, and it's called Our Guy Jackson.
Okay. Okay. I'm ready. Are we ready for this? Is everybody ready? Hold on. I got to make sure everybody ready for this. I got too many damn windows. All right. I'll put this over here for now. Okay. Too tired to light up now, but it's legal as hell here. I have a plant growing in the dining room. Lorna Huddleston. Damn, girl. Okay. Shit. I just want to point out that down here, I'm assuming. No, no, no. I'm never. My mother told me never to ask a woman's age, but I assume from some of the comments that you make that you are a generation or two below my mother. Uh, but here they were so anti-drug for so long that yeah, my mother could benefit from smoking, but she ain't ever gonna do it. All right, let's do it.
So here we have old Jackson Moorhead. By everyone, he is adored. A real righteous dude with a chill attitude. By his tales, we are never bored. Yeah. Yeah, this is a limerick about a specific ex-Scientologist named Gary Jackson Moorhead. Well, his given name is Gary Moorhead, but he's always gone by Jackson, so that's in quotes. He's a very interesting fella. Oh, by the way, today is his birthday. I'm recording this on the 11th of March of 24. So happy birthday, Jackson.
Happy
I ran
birthday.
into his story through SPTV. That's the Suppressive Person Network, Suppressive Person Television Network genre, whatever you want to call it, here on YouTube. Which I consider myself SPTV adjacent. To quote another one of the viewers, Chow Gun Smut.
I'm SPG. I self-identify. Hold on. Let's just make it clear, because I want to say it too. I self-identify as SPTV adjacent. Adjacent. Kind of like that. Eh? Maybe they're adjacent. Parallel. No, nothing could parallel. All right, continuing on.
Hi, Chow, if you're watching this. So yeah, I learned about his story, which I recommend you go check out any of the videos that he's done, whether on other channels like Aaron Smith Levin's Growing Up in Scientology, Blown for Good, or what have you, or his own YouTube channel. So you can hear the story right from right from the source. But my impressions of Jackson is he's a very, very good person who did bad things because he thought he was doing good. I think the term.
That's the common thread, usually. By the way, you do bad things because you think it's the right thing. So this is a realization that I had. I'm sorry to stop the video, Brian, but this is part of the whatever happened after or during my procedure. A lot of people are describing it as that, like, similar to their DMT experience. I never done DMT. I've done probably almost everything else except DMT. And none of that new shit like Flocka or Crocodile or any of that engineered chemical crap. I'm talking about old school hardcore drugs. So, but I never did DMT. I never had access to it. So, I during that period of recovery after the procedure, which they put me down like for a surgery, and they blew out my vein. They had to give me an extra whopping dose of all four of those chemicals they use and the drugs they use and uh, come on, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word for the drug giver in the emergency room and in the operating room? Uh, it is called an anesthesiologist. Thank you, brain. All right, so the anesthetist, anesthesiologist. I remember her talking about her dating apps that she was paying for, like how many subscriptions she had and how what the turnover, what she was getting at, basically how much dick she was getting before I got conked out. And that's she was distracted talking about this stuff, and I was like, the only vein you're gonna get it from is this one, so whatever. Like, I guess she didn't think about it and just pushed all of that stuff like hard into my wrist, and the uh, the vein blew out, and they had to do another one. My point is that over a period of time, shortly after that, because it really felt like I was coming down, and in some ways it still does. Feels like I'm coming down off a major, like heroic dose of some hallucinogen. Like it completely shifted and changed things about how my body works, how I think, and anyways, one of the things that 'cause I still go to therapy every week. One of the things that came up was like just not in therapy, but outside of therapy. I was thinking, man, I did a lot of wrong things as growing up as a child, even very very wrong things because I thought they were right because that's what was taught to me was okay and what was right and the right thing to do. In other words, helping people, not really. Uh, look out for yourself. Look out for number one. Don't care about anyone else. Only what's best for you. Selfishness is a virtue that I was taught, and behavior as well was geared around that. No one's going to help you. You must either engineer a situation where you can take advantage of people, um, because if you don't, they're going to do it to you. So it's the correct thing to do to to do that. So that's wrong. Um, and then when I got out of that situation at 16, the emancipation, I was free, and I guess I still had some light of life left in me, enough to go and pursue something that I wanted to do. Uh, but I also had that fire of like suicide, not suicidal, but suicidal behavior that could I had no care about my life. I wanted to do but at the same time I had every care about my life. Like I wanted to do it all the time, and all of it. Whatever it was I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it, uh, however I wanted to do it. I wanted to be a rock star, like Deej. Mm. Anyways, um, and I realized after going back to this limerick, I realized that um, I had learned wrong things and thought they were right as a child. As a young adult, a teen to early 20s, I flew solo for 4 years. I kept about 4 years, 5 years. And then I had a mental health crisis, and it was a weird, unique disease, whatever, disorder that at that time was very much not treated. And if it was treated as they call orphan disease, and they don't treat it. They just they can do kind of whatever they want with you if they want. So, like they could put me in, oh, he has HPPD, we could just put him in a state ward. Um, and I sure in the hell didn't want that. So, um, I used drugs to change my brain. Um, to alter my states of consciousness so that I could tolerate being alive. But at the same time, I'm teetering on the edge of death from the drugs. I don't know how many times I almost died. I don't. I know that this last experience felt like the closest. I don't know if it was. I may have been closer and less aware. But I realized I was being too hard on myself uh, because, I considered the idea that I was taught wrong things, believed they were right things, did a bunch of wrong things, felt bad about it, left, was able to get out of that situation, then had a crisis, didn't want to go back to the previous situation. So Scientology was more of an asset than my family was, and found refuge there and was taught even more wrong things, and a lot of it, and in a lot of detail. So it was like expert training for being wrong. For being wrong. And somehow able to pull it off and be right. Okay, I am gonna continue the video and read some of these comments. Just wanted to say that, like, you know, Jackson Moorhead probably did do a lot of really bad things at Gold, but he didn't believe that they were bad things when he did it. And I think that makes a big difference, because if you know, and I do believe that there are people in Scientology that know they're doing bad things and do them anyway. That's a different type of person, different type of staff member, different type of personality, different, however you want. It's a different type of thinking. And they are both existing in the same world. It's total chaos. All right. Video. Main screen, Scotty or Sulu. Main screen.
Term is weaponized empathy. I consider I'm an empathetic person. My heart my heart goes out to people, and that's been used against me in the past. I've been taken advantage of because of that. And in this case,
Me too.
I think Jackson was taken advantage of too. When I watch his stuff, I can just tell how bad he felt or still feels about the things he did while he was in the cult. And he takes responsibility for him. For God's sakes, he was the security chief at their gold base international headquarters, these super secret headquarters in La Quinta, California, that you can find on a map anywhere. He designed the security plan, and there's you can see the pictures. There's these freaking wicked razor wire, this is spikes that are on the top of these
I'll show you. I think so. Gold based privacy fence. Scientology. Okay. There it is. That's what he's talking about. This is what is on Gold Base's privacy fence. It's to think I almost signed a contract to go there. God damn, crazy. Like they were ready for intake.
Fences, and they go 4 feet down in the ground so people can't dig underneath them to escape. Yet at the same time, he's a volunteer firefighter. You know, if he hadn't got sucked into that, I guarantee he'd be a fire chief somewhere. You know, that just shows.
Yeah, and if I hadn't got sucked in, maybe I'd have been a rock star like Deej. And had and had something to show for all my time, and something to leave my children. You know, some mailbox money. That'd be nice.
Shows you how destructive this cult organization, whatever the hell you want to call it, is to people. They take your talents and they twist them and they use them for not so nice purposes. And because if you actually have a conscience, they use it against you. It's so screwed up, so screwed up. I thank God I never got into an organization like that.
Well, Brian, were you not in the service? You were in the services. You were connected to an organization like that was probably serving in some capacity the needs for an organization like that. Um, Andrew Bustamante spoke to over 6 million, probably around 6 million people. I think it was 5.1 million watched it live. His interview that he did last week. Um, he's a former CIA agent, and childhood trauma actually happens to be something that they look for because it creates developmental in the brain. It creates special use case scenario types of people. And in Andrew's case, like, he had a natural bias to being unaffected by doing sociopathic things. Didn't have a bias necessarily to do them, but he was like non-bias when it came to sociopathic behavior. And you know, he ended up one of the points of his career being one of the guys to turn the key whenever they did nuke drills. And you gotta have two people turn the key at the same time, and you never know. They send in codes, and you don't know if that code is going to actually set off World War III or whatever, or mutually assured destruction. And you're buried down in a like 300 feet underground in a capsule with another dude for hours, and they do it in shifts. There's like 70 crews, 72-man crews that work in like shifts, um, around the clock, kind of like boats. You go on a hitch and you stay at a facility and you sit under the ground for whatever, 2 weeks, a month, until the next rotation comes in. You're sitting in a pod buried in the earth. All you do is turn a key at the same time, But if that key happens to launch a nuke and you're stuck in this tube pod with whoever. Anyways, my point is that um, people who are uh, traumatized in childhood, not just, I mean, it could just be once, but usually it's a lot of it, because that's what will allow the brain to develop in ways that aren't neurotypical. Um, and the divergence becomes pretty extreme. But the ability to adapt and stuff for certain people remains intact, or to blend, to get along with others, even though they may have a psychotic or sociopathic tendency, they still are able to maintain relationships and, you know, do pretty much anything anyone else can do. Just, anyways, he was scouted for that purpose, Andrew Bustamante, and Scientology does a very similar thing. It's just not as thorough. It's like, oh, we can get you, and then, but from there it does get thorough. Like, they really thoroughly fuck you up. All right, continuing on with the limerick from Brian Lucas. On screen.
They would have probably been promised me, well, we'll teach you how to do this, that, and the other. Use your talents, and I'd end up scrubbing freaking dumpsters with a toothbrush. Ugh. So Jackson, happy birthday, my friend. So if
Nice
you like
touch.
this one, thank you for watching to the end. If you like what I've done here, I've got more limericks and stuff about Scientology. I also have a book. It's called All About Scientology, My Scientology Haikus and Limericks. You can find it on Amazon. If you want to check out more of what I've written, also hit the old thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, everything the algorithm likes us to say sometime in our videos. Thank you for watching to the end.
There you go.
Have a good day.
Speaking of all that, so my subscribers going wow, womp, womp, womp. And from the beginning, I'm like, it's not about how many subscribers I have. Oh, we're down 3 from last week. But it doesn't matter to me. That shit don't matter to me. What matters is that the people that are here are like here for what they're here for. Does that make sense? I'm not promising you. I'm not promising you bread and roses. Or I should say, I'm not promising you the moon or something, but I can give you some bread and roses. All right, let's catch up on the comments here. The oil. Willie got his mom to try oil on her arthritis. She never smoked, but loves the oil. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, my mother was taking the CBD for a little while. Got his dad high. He got his high. I smoked with my dad, my bio dad, and he felt so guilty for it. He had this Catholic guilt about it for years. Kim McNeil. You love New Orleans? Well, so do we. I love living here. Uh, I mean, I love Louisiana, but it's all gonna be gone soon. So it's like, yeah, by the time I'm my mom's age, we'll probably be having to be in Texas somewhere, Southeast Texas, Northeast Texas, or Northwest Texas, whatever it may be. Um, this is way back, I'm sure. Oh no, okay, I'm not that far behind. Anesthesiologist. I think Blues is catching up. Spelling is optional. She too high to spell. Autocorrect's turned off because they don't get along. Beach. What's up, Beach? I started using the double thumb method instead of doing the swipe on Android. I don't know what the autocorrect is like on Apple. I don't use Apple stuff. Hey, Hans Christian Swartz. Good afternoon. Music helps too, creating anything. I don't know if that's a question or just a statement. It is very relatable. Marcus, thanks for sharing. Brian, I hear about being so empathic. Plenty of people will take advantage of that. Yes. Yes. I think that the well, and also I've been told uh, from LPCs, not just mine, but LPCs in general, that like children that grow up in homes that have a lot of domestic violence are kind of attuned to someone's behavior and mood, and they can learn empathy that way. They can become over empathizers in order to keep that person like in a state where they're not going to blow the fuck up. So, um, yeah, sensitivities, biases that happen in development in those environments um, is yeah, that's a factor. It's a trait. It's a factor in your in development, and it's a trait that can uh, put you at risk for people who can act well-meaning very well. Uh, to take advantage of you, and you won't really notice at first. It will become more clear over time. And I think there's some other bias or something that develops in some and not in others that is like a threshold point where you've had enough. And it could take a long time. It could take a long time. It's not a religion, but my mother was in a marriage that was like a dictatorship with a king and everything. And the means and methods of controls, the strings that he could pull, uh, were crazy. And like the amount of environmental control, and no matter what she did, if she tried to leave, it would be incredibly difficult. Just like metaphorically, that privacy fence. Not only, and he didn't even need a privacy fence because it was like the prison of belief. as like Lawrence Wright wrote and wrought in his book Going Clear. Prison of Belief, Scientology, Going Clear, the Prison of Belief. The Prison of Belief. It's a far more. Yeah. Oh man, that that book is really really great. Um, because yeah, it's just like anything else, but worse. Scientology is pretty bad, but what he also talks about is just the prison of beliefs, and people can be conditioned to believe things, or made to behave in a way that the crows are squawking like crazy outside. I'm guessing either Cynthia's feeding them or they want food, and they'll come right by the window, hers and mine, and just they'll go by the bed, the window in the bedroom, and wake me up sometimes. One time they woke me up for a broadcast. I'm still processing grief, I guess. I don't know. Deej killed himself. We don't know how. I texted a mastering engineer that works on most of his stuff and our and his and my stuff, and we're all pretty close, and it's like we don't know how. I don't know if it was a gun, if he hung himself, or if he started using, got a hold of some fentanyl. Uh, she fed the birds this morning. They want more food. Okay. I wouldn't be the miserable loser with nothing to show for my colorful life if I didn't grow up in such a fucked up family. It's sad. What a hell of a thing to say. What a statement to make. Hell yeah, Lorna. Hell yeah, man. I feel similarly. Oh, I feel similarly, but I don't think you're a loser. You probably, I don't know. I just don't think you are. I don't think you're a miserable loser. You might feel. I mean, but then again, I feel that way frequently, like a miserable loser, like a persona non grata, like a dreg. Eh, something that's just the government's just waiting for me to die, and everyone and everything else too, all the institutions too. The only people that are gonna miss me are my friends and family, but everything else is just like, can you just die already? Tired of you. You don't have your 30 work credits. You're 44 years old and you don't have your work credits. Oh, I'm 43. 43. 42. 42. Oh, 40 something. Yeah, Tim, you're right. Grief never really goes away. Um, it just transforms. The grief never goes away. 100% agree with that. And so how much you carry is yeah. I just like I cannot. I've sat down and tried to write down a list of how many of my friends committed suicide, and I can't. It's too long. I forget some of the names. There's been that many. I just thought of a girl. who was 12 years old and committed suicide when I was younger. 12 years old. People bullied her like crazy. She was hip as fuck. She was cool. She had great taste in music. She did her own thing. She was a unique soul. Beautiful. Different. Stood out. And that's why she got picked on. Fake it. Fake what? Fake it till you make it? Yeah. It's funny. I mean, I've totally done that. Well, I once went into when I was looking for extra work during the divorce. I went to a car dealership and took a test. It was very much like a personality test that you would take for Scientology. And I scored some score, and I got called in by the sales floor manager. His name was Boo. So Boo called me, and this is a big dealership, like multiple dealerships in all across Southeast Texas and Southwest Louisiana. Billy Navarre Chevrolet. And he said, "Hey, something's up with your score. Did you did you answer all that stuff?" Honestly, I'm like, "Well, yeah. I mean, questions were pretty straightforward." Um and apparently, he said, well, what he said was, Billy wants to meet you and talk about the job. This is rare because Billy is, doesn't have to do this, but he saw your score, and he wanted to talk to you personally. Like, is that good or bad? And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, he's like, do you want to meet him? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I go and I meet Billy Navarre and sit down at his desk, and he tells me, you realize you scored in the top 2% in the nation on this particular test. So normally when I find someone like that, whoa, shit, I hear Lulu. Oh, yeah, Beach, you scared me, Beach. You scared me, bitch. Uh, at least it's working. Thank you, by the way. I'm broke as shit. Um, I'm the equivalent of an internet bum, really, a beggar. Um, so the hell was I talking about? Billy Navarre. Sit in front of Billy Navarre, and he tells me the top 2%, and he wanted to meet me, see what kind of because he had never met anyone who scored in that grouping, and most of those people were up in New York or on the West Coast, some shit like that. So, he asked me my work history, and this is all coming off of the fake it comment. So, when I went initially and filled out the application for the job and had the first interview with Boo, he asked me, what makes you think you're qualified to sell cars? I said, well, I used to sell spiritual freedom. I used to sell spiritual freedom to people for tens of thousands, millions of dollars. Right. And he said, "Oh, for who?" I said, "Scientology." It's on my resume. At the time, my resume still had, this was 2015. The time I still had that on my resume as events coordinator. I did coordinate events for Scientology. Not the big pack base events. We did events at Melrose and Buenaventura, so in Ventura and in Los Angeles County. Bonjour, Martha. Bon matin. Comment ça va? Je. Comme ci, comme ça. So I faked it all the way up to Billy Navarre. And, but I don't know. Was it fake? Because I answered the questions honestly. He proceeded to tell me his entire life story. He, as I've learned a lot from watching Andrew Bustamante, like crazy how similar some of the training techniques in Scientology and the CIA are horrifically similar. The training. Because they have the CIA has an entire mocked up city. He calls it a city, all right, but is it a city? I don't know. He can't say if it's a city. He can't say where the city is. Basically, it is a system designed to test these things they find about you, your sociopathy, your psychopathy, and it's just a big mix of neurodivergent people and what they are willing to do, able to do, based on where their biases land, based on, and a lot of it has to do with childhood trauma, because it has to be, in order for a person to be able to do it and not be a liability, they have to be attuned and aligned in a certain specific way. And you have these people orchestrating all of these agents. Man, ain't no class. Tim Greenglass. I attended several colleges. I'm pretty good at making improvised pipes and bongs. Oh, me too. I have an improvised gravity bong made out of a 1-gallon milk jug and a 1-liter plastic Coke bottle. It works quite well. I can get the big rips. And that's the ones that are, in conserving your stash. The gravity bong is where it's at in my world. But I do think that fake it till you make it works. But I'm not sure what you meant by fake it. But that was my little spinoff of your comment. Suicide, man. What the fuck? My friend Charlie Heinbach. We'll play some music because this was the last song we wrote before Stella was born. We wrote this song, and I don't remember you knocking the gravity bong over And we don't have much carpet. Oh, you did that in here, didn't you? Okay, in the studio, right? Of course. Um, Charlie was a good friend of mine and also a friend of Colin Alured, who I play on KFuck Radio. We all played together talent shows and stuff growing up and whatnot. Also have I probably played it last week, a new video. The AI, yeah. No, I don't think I did. I don't know if I did or not. Anyways, the song Charlie and I wrote called Radio Friendly. I can play the live version. Main screen. I can actually get my computer to do that. But, oh, look, Suicide's live. So this song is written by a dead friend of mine. I almost feel like the Jim Carroll song about it, if that makes sense. These are people who have died. These are people who have died. And, if you've never heard that song, check it out. Jim Carroll. It's a guy that the Basketball Diaries movie was made about. And it's getting to that point. Charlie hung himself in the sulfur jail because he couldn't get a ride to fucking New Orleans. I had a less than 6-month-old baby. And, I couldn't really do much. I couldn't bring him to New Orleans. I suppose I could have brought the baby with us, but Charlie was drinking a lot and was unpredictable, so I didn't want to put my child in that situation. Anyways, he and I wrote this song a year prior, and this is us performing it January 5th. So this is music passed on from dead friends. Radio Friendly. Charlie Hine back. And and I have a version of it where he's doing the vocals, but he's not alive anymore to do the vocals. He never made it to New Orleans. Where'd my chat go? Here we are. Hey, Whitney. Good morning. Good morning, Nikarasu. Yeah. You know, I really, I'd love to go in and just take that lineup, this lineup here. Let me go back to main screen. This lineup is pretty fucking good. So I got Robbie Lewis on the bass, Charles Lyons on guitar, Sheep Fontenot on the drums, my brother on drums. I kind of just want to go in because I just want to go in and fucking be loud and obnoxious and record a fucking song like this. It kind of is very nostalgic for me. It was for me and Charlie because it's like a Weezer / Nirvana kind of song. It's very loose and detached, and squirrely and dynamic to a ridiculous level. Like, oh, we're gonna go from this really, really fucking loud to really, really, really fucking quiet. But that shocking, kind of like in Creep, in Radiohead Creep, you know, when the guitar starts feeding back, and then so loud. I don't know if you know the story behind that. Does anyone know the story behind that? Because I'd love to tell that story. It's a simple story. Is very common in bands. People that play together for longer periods of time. It's like a relationship. So you have your ups and downs and whatnot. People get mad at each other. Well, the whole thing with that Creep riff when the guitar comes in loud was they were at a gig and the guitarist was so mad at the singer that he just turned his amp up really loud and just during the chorus he just went racket, 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 jam. It was so loud, but crowd went wild, and the crowd goes wild. No, I like that raw sound, and I don't know. There's a lot of talk of direction, and there's a couple directions it can go at this point. You know, I just don't know what to do with the material. I've sat down at the piano a couple of times with all the material. I have too much. I have more than what I can deal with. So I can either last time I made a record was there were hurricanes going on. 4 hurricanes. 4. So I don't know if I have some kind of record PTSD or something, but that's when that album and COVID and Ice Storm, just complete wasteland apocalypse all across I-10 for like 2-3 years. Still, 2024 it looks almost about like it did in 2020 or 19 into 2019. But from 2020 to 2023, especially from those 2 years, first 2 years, drive down I-10, just debris everywhere. It's like nature just came and ruffled the hair, like someone goes and messes with their hair. What's their hair? There you go, buddy. It's fucked. Yes, Whitney, Wall of Fuzz, and that line. So I'm saying about that lineup, like Robbie Lewis and Charles Lyons, Skeeter. I played with him since I was 12 or 13. And we were in a alternative band in the 90s called Cartoon Suicide. And we published something. It wasn't much. It was a double-sided tape. But some still exist out there somewhere. They're incredibly rare. But, and we played shows at these little dingy venues that were full of undesirables, according to the mayor of our town. Or not the mayor, it was the city council. The mayor actually did a lot to help for us having places to play, but she could only do so much. Well, she left office. She became a senator. So, yeah, after that, it was all rent the venues, and some of the shows got so crazy and wild that they wouldn't rent to them anymore. It was mostly the metal scene and the punk scene. But they were like, no music shows. No music shows. There weren't venues for us. We had to make them. That's the generation Deej was part of. And Choke. Deej was in a band called Santeria in the 90s. Pretty popular band at that time in this area. And in the South Central United States. As well as Choke, which was a band that used to play heavy metal, kind of. A lot of people considered them like an alternative to Pantera, and but they didn't really sound like Pantera. They were southern blues metal, but the connection was more on a like the bassist Vinnie Paul or something. Is it Vinnie Paul? I don't know. Was friends with Charlie Fry, who's the original guitarist for Choke. And I'm talking all this music shit. It ain't Thursday, but you know what? People fucking dying, killing themselves. So we have a short shelf life, it seems, in what I do. And I knew that when I was younger. I was like, I'm gonna probably die young, but I'm gonna fucking enjoy doing it. I'm gonna be playing music. Well, just like Brian said, come full circle here, with that limerick that he wrote and his commentary afterwards. Just like Gary Jackson Moorhead could have been a fire chief. And I don't feel alone in this at all. Because my friend Colin, who I was on the road with, joined a similar coercive control group. It's one of the East Indian guru varieties. And ended up doing a similar thing that I did. And when you get out, it's like you missed some opportunities. Your opportunities aren't done, but that intense, that youth is wasted on the young, right? Youth is wasted. My youth in that time that I had was wasted on Scientology. And it was also, you know, a separating factor to some of my closest musical companions. I tried to recruit Jeremy Lister and his brother. I sold his brother books. I tried to sell him thousands of dollars worth of stuff, and his wife was like, "Okay, yeah, no, this is crazy." I tracked Jeremy Lister down at a gig just to try to sell him a book. I called the bar right before he went on stage, and he was like, "Dude, this is fucking weird. Like, you're calling, I got a gig right now, and you're trying to sell me a book?" Um, let's toke while we can before we become the flowers. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Martha Simons. Lol. If you live in the South, it's likely you have a friend named Skeeter. Skeeter. Hey, Skeeter Bug. Yeah, yeah. Skeeter was the guy playing the guitar on the right hand side of the stage. Uh, Suicides. Seemingly random suicide. Guy named Monty, I was friends with in high school, shot himself, I guess, around 2007, 2008. No apparent reason, just went home, grabbed a gun, sat in his chair, blew his brains out. Was a cook at a country club. Very sad funeral. Um, the beat goes on and on and on. The beat goes on and on and on. The beat goes on and on and on. I could be totally wrong, but I'm a dancing fool. Suicide, unintentional, is what I'm wondering with Deej. That's what I'm really wondering. That, mm, intentional or unintentional? Because fentanyl kills people here, and everywhere. But there's a lot of it on the I-10 corridor, and people are careless. So, um, could have been unintentional. Maybe he was just trying to get high. That would suck. Um, and there was a girl named Allie. Her mother was one of my good friends in high school, and we rode to high school together. It was right before I got emancipated, and before I could drive. And I got my license at 14, so it wasn't that long. I guess just a year before I was able to drive. But we rode to school together for a year, and she'd come, troubled family, and well, more so friends. And she got pregnant very early with Allie, and anyways, 2022, Allie took a Xanax, had fentanyl on it, dead. 21 years old. Shining, full of life and personality and uniqueness, just like gone. I'm sorry about all of them, Martha. It's you know, it never it never convinced me or made me feel less motivated to whenever I was suicidal, when I was in times where I was feeling suicidal, and someone would say, "Well, that would be so selfish." That that has zero impact on me. I don't know about everyone else, but like the whole point is fuck it. You know? Yeah, it's selfish. Y'all deal with it. I'm checking out. I'm tired of it. And for some people, yeah. And I've been some people. You're in that state of mind. The world is so fucked up that for some people, and there's no fixing it. There's no fucking, you can't duct tape it. You can't surgically fix it. It's just permanently like that, you know? Again, I'll reference Andrew Bustamante, former CIA agent, who is able to speak about things. I'm not sure if he's supposed to or not, or if he's just a disinformation agent or something like that, or a controlled disclosure agent. But he is said in the interview he did last week that it is shocking how much correlation there is with childhood trauma and the selection of CIA candidates. Because depending on the trauma, it may wire you a certain way and make you a certain way. And that can be leveraged, right? Just like Scientology does it. To me, there's no difference. I mean, there are differences, yes, but like what they're doing is leveraging someone's mental state to their advantage and putting them in environments where they know how a person will likely react, and training them to don't pay attention to the emotion. Let the logical side catch up. And this might sound counterintuitive because I'm talking about Scientology, but think about it for a second. HE&R, human emotion and reaction. You drill that stuff out in training routines. You learn the flat affect. You learn to have no affect. You learn to create reality with people. It's the same damn thing that Andrew Bustamante is describing. It's the same thing Andrew Bustamante is describing, Tim. And so this school that he talks about that he cannot talk about yet, he says he can't talk about it yet. He said that he was going to be able to disclose it. And then the CIA said, no, you can't talk about the school or whatever, or the city or the town, whatever. At this point, we don't know. It's just a big question mark as to what it actually is, where it is, how it works. But they're exposed to an environment that is controlled and is to test your how you respond to the most intense stressors that you could possibly imagine for your particular profile, neurological profile. And there's a baseline that they want, and if you don't make it, then you don't make it. But and they have washouts, people that fucking lose it, people that go psycho, people that go socio. People get so deep in themselves to that point, forget how huge everything else is besides ourselves. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, totally. Because when you are suppressing all that stuff, it's like internalizing, and it's going to come up instead of letting it out. To me, it's like when you speak and you talk to people and you just share your experience with others, it helps. It's just, you realize, you see it's so much bigger than just where you are. There's things to be grateful for. Good afternoon, Lydia von Stretchclaw. It's 11:32 a.m. Central Standard Time, New Orleans, March 3rd. I almost said March 13th. March 11th, 2024. We got robbed of an hour yesterday. Daylight savings here in the U.S. Yeah, there you go, Willie. Like how our round ship is flying 67,000 miles per hour through space at 1,000 miles per hour helps me. Spinning. Oh, yeah, yeah. I was about to correct you there. Yeah. It's spinning. Yeah. Yeah. I thought we were spinning at 67,000 miles per hour. Huh. Let me check. How fast does the Earth spin? Okay, yeah. 1,000 miles per hour. You're right. 1,525 feet per second at the equator. This is going to change dependent, right? Because it's gravity and it's like going wow, 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 wow. In certain places, there's more torque, and 0G is crazy. Inertia is fucking wild. Kinetic, just blah, whoa. Gravity. Tractors. Gravity tractors. Yeah, we got. No, Martha. See, that's the thing. Martha says we got gifted an hour in the fall. But you know what? It's not a gift if you take it away. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on you like that. I'm just mad about the time. I don't like the extra hour of sun. And I don't like the temperatures that it generally implies are coming. Because last year it was 120-degree high. And I don't want it to get hotter. And it probably will be hotter. Well, I guess glass half empty or half full. I guess I'm a half empty person. I'm half empty. By all rights. I mean, isn't it the 40th birthday where they give you black balloons? So half empty sounds about right. And it does take the wind out my sails a little bit when people fucking start killing themselves again. It's like, man, I understand not wanting to live in this world. I really do. Especially at the beginning of the year. And I had that experience. I really, would prefer to go to whatever that great beyond is. Because I believe it's probably something cool, something different at least. I also know that it's natural, it's part of life, and so there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm just not afraid of it anymore. And the thing is I'm almost, what's the word? I'm kind of perturbed about it because, um, uh, no, that's not the right word. Um, although that is an adequate word to describe one aspect of how I feel about it. I mean, I am a little perturbed, but it doesn't seem like even if I tried to die or kill myself or have someone like suicide by cop or something like that, I don't even think that would work. Because here's the thing, I have tried before, and it never works. And then I had that experience, and it's like, it was almost like, oh yeah, you might as well just stop trying because it's not going to happen until it's your time. When it's time, it's time. When it's your time, it's your time. You don't know how much time you have. That's just fodder in probably 3 or 4 songs, that I've written. Time. Like, you don't know how much you have. Do what you want to do. If it's nothing, then do nothing. If it's something, then do something. Do what you want to do. Yeah. And then there's Whitney says, I'm still mad at Cobain. Then there's the whole thing of, growing up in that generation, the 90s, where it's like, I'm still not over Kurt Cobain. I'm still not over it. Charlie wanted to be Kurt Cobain. I wanted to be Billy Corgan. Charlie wanted to be Kurt Cobain. And he was so fucking at school. It was seventh grade. My second year of 7th grade. So hit 8th grade for him. And I think one of the PE coaches had said something like, well, your ragamuffin grungy dude killed himself. Everyone's like, asking people to go look at the paper or listen to the radio or something. And then the whole PE class found out, second hour PE. And Charlie was late to every class because he was walking with his head straight down, one foot in front of the other. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we can be mad if all we want. It just doesn't change a fucking thing. Lorna, mad at Tom Petty for ODing. Why? He was on he was taking opiates his whole career. You know, I ain't trying to make excuses for his suicide, but I will say that, if you're gigging all the time and for like 15, 20 years you gigged on your own, that will cause some that if you don't have a full crew helping you and it's just you and your couple friends and you're moving all that equipment every single day or even 4 or 5 days a week and you're going traveling constantly, you're not sleeping right, you're not eating right, you can handle that for a while, then you need rest. But you've done some damage to your back, to your hips, stuff like that. And it's painful. And, there are those who can take drugs like that for a long time and maintain. It does do permanent damage, obviously, to your liver and other parts of your brain. Your liver's not in your brain. I don't want to. Let's be clear on that. Let that be known. But yeah, I mean, if Tom Petty needed to take some fucking hydrocodones for his back, I totally understand. It's over there. I take kratom. I take a milligram or a gram twice a day usually. It's an alternative pain medicine. It's a plant, but it passes the mu receptors, so it acts as an opiate. It's a very mild opiate. Does come with some side effects, but I mean nothing that is as bad as or even close to having withdrawals from opiates. Yeah, Whitney, Kurt had bad stomach problems. Like the stress of doing it, or either the physical or the emotional stress, because Kurt, I think, had some issues like with the attention, social disorder, anxiety, and it might have all just went to his stomach. He had really, really bad stomach problems. So, heroin, okay. He even talked about it on MTV openly. He's like, yeah, I mean, it helps me with my problem. Yeah, I don't I'm not recommending people try kratom because that's not my wheelhouse to recommend drugs to people, especially when I'm talking about a topic like suicide, because you can always overdo it. If not kill yourself, make yourself very sick. I mean, Chris Cornell, another suicide. I guess I heard, I'm remembering, and I have heard some people in my social circle, like Skeeter and my music friends. It's like the ghosts of our friends are just hanging around. Their music is the ghosts. Brian's music, everything I've published of his, all of Deej's stuff. And then we probably think to ourselves, who's going to go first? What if one day I'm listening to Skeeter and that's all I've got left of him? And or vice versa. What if I go first and that's what he's got? What if I don't make another album before I die? And pain and suffering is all that I've ever contributed. That's the name of the album. And that's what people would have. Pain and suffering. Here you go. Here's the ghost of this guy. I'm very grateful for Prophecy Records responding to my post yesterday about Deej's catalog and the new record. Let's see. My brother and 2 nephews committed suicide within 3 months of each other. That's terrible. Yeah, my sister-in-law's little brother was also bullied and committed suicide. He was bullied so hard, and he would get angry and hit himself. He wouldn't hit anyone else. He wouldn't. That's what's so fucking sad is that he would never take it out on people. He would get mad that people were bullying him and being mean, but he would never do anything in retaliation. He just killed himself to spare everyone else the trouble of him being such an inconvenience to the world and being annoying and being whatever they said he was being. And he was 14. Too old to die young now. Good die young. Then why am I still here? Because I'm not good. I'm not. I don't think I ever claimed to be good. I don't think so. Maybe, well, not good in a moral sense. No, I don't think I've claimed to be good morally. Maybe I have. I could probably go and find a clip stating otherwise. Or manufacture it. No. I just am whatever the fuck it is I am. Still constantly figuring that shit out. Because it changes. It fucking change. It's the only thing you can count on. So what's beautiful about that this symbolism in those photos of Deej, that wheel of time on the sand, it will erode as soon as the waves come, and it'll all be washed away. It's so temporary. Everything is temporary. Change is inevitable. Everything is temporary. Yeah, you're right, Martha. It can be what happens when people don't get mental health treatment. We talked about and watched Brian's video limerick about Jackson Moorhead and how Scientology affected his life. Um, I feel like everybody who was caught up in that kind of shit should talk to somebody. Should have a professional, even if it's just for a year or less. Even, I mean, just go see somebody. Try to find somebody you can trust, or that you even, or if not trust, like is super important. You don't know how much it can help. You don't know. So, like, if you're not taking advantage of professional services that can help you with that, um, I encourage you to do so because uh, a community is only as healthy as its members, right? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So, for any community to continue to exist, it's gotta maintain itself, and it's gotta be able to survive. I know that had I continued in the what would I call it, a um, neurotic the neurotic path that Scientology left me on, and hadn't got someone to talk to, uh, a professional who understands the whatever you want to call it, the inner workings of the inner, psychology, how the mind works, what can be done to people, what people have done to people, what studies have been done, how does that affect them? Do drugs work? Um, are they, worth trying for you? Are they not? Are there other modes of therapy that work for you or not? Are there coping skills that you could use? And if so, for what? Like, these are all pretty, like, no brainer. Uh, and I understand that not everyone has insurance to get that. That's, or the money for that. If you're on Medicaid and you're unemployable, like me, the bum on the internet, just fucking rambling, the online beggar, um, then you're on Medicaid and you can see somebody. But if you're somebody more special, then maybe there'd be a sponsor, someone that would sponsor your treatment. I don't know. It should be a recommended prerequisite for people leaving to 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 see someone, like through the Aftermath Foundation. Should be a recommended prerequisite. A recommended prerequisite that you agree to see a professional. That's just my opinion. Okay, here we go. Agathocatological. Problems are an illusion of thinking. What's the problem for one person will not be a problem for another, which shows the personal nature of what one thinks as a problem. Yeah, it sounds a lot like Andrew Bustamante. That is correct. What is a problem for one person may not be a problem for another. That is exactly why he was recruited, because of his particular bias that was hard coded into his brain because of his childhood experiences and his experiences prior to the military. Um, I mean, he had mental ill. He's mentally ill. You know, but there's nothing he could do about it. And they basically said that's why we wanted you, because there's nothing you can do about it. We can use that. Um, do do do. Uh, mm, get you if you off yourself on the other side. It doesn't pay. Oh, devil gets you. I got you. The devil gets you if you own it. Okay. Well, I didn't experience any. I've never experienced any devils or nothing. Ira, on the other hand, who died for 20 minutes, described some what I guess people would consider devils, demons, or something. Um, yeah, you starting some new seeds today, huh, Willie? Well, that's good. Z Skittles, glue, and Frosted Flakes. Man, they are so many strains now. Strains. I was talking to my friend Roland in Vegas, and it all came from just a few strains, but now there are so many. Um, I wouldn't know. Well, kind of a shitty way to start the week, Monday, talking about suicide and people killing themselves, but that's what happened over the weekend. Um, I have permission to broadcast DJ's stuff on the radio, but not on this broadcast. So, um, if you're feeling it, jam some Brother Deej while you're doing your stuff this week. Brother, he's got 5 albums. The sixth one's coming out on the 15th. So, I'm hoping it'll be out just a day earlier, but it may not. So, um, I don't know what to say about us musicians and our proclivity to suicide and drugs and all this stuff, but you know, I think it has a lot to do with not being able to cope with the fucking world. Cannot cope with world. World is crazy, world is stupid, world is cruel, world is not where it should be. Don't want to be in world. Rock over London, rock on Chicago. Wesley Willis, not a suicide, died of natural causes. He beat that demon. So, um, yeah, you got what you got. We got the swag, Joe, down here, the Mexican swag that was bricked up. Red hair was like, ooh, got the red hair. It's 12 p.m. That's the 2 hours. That's our 2 hours. We'll catch you next time. Y'all have a good week. Until next time, live long and prosper.